Hello, welcome to Glazing with Amaco. I'm Kara, and I'm so glad you have joined us live today. As you have possibly seen on social media, Amaco has a new glaze line to share with you all. So it is the Kiln Ice. Sorry, hang on, let me set things up so I can see your chats. I want to be able to see any comments. Hello, Christina from raining in San Diego. So I really appreciate y'all joining me today. So our newest glaze line, you've probably seen the videos, Kiln Ice. And if you're wondering what it is a traditional type of glaze that's sometimes called guan or snowflake crackle glaze. And I'm going to show you some close-ups here. Hang on just a moment. Where is my camera? There we go. So, the snowflake crackle glazes, the Kiln Ice glazes, they aren't just a regular kind of crackle. These actually crackle not just across the surface of the clay, but they also crackle in layers. So like ice or snowflakes piling up, you can see the layers of crackle. Aren't those beautiful? So this is our Kiln Ice 68 Honey Crystal. Beautiful golden yellow. This is Kiln Ice 11 Snowdrift. And these are all on our premium dark chocolate clay. So you can see how it breaks on the edges, but it is a thick, frosty glaze. So even though this is on a black clay body, you can really see the crackle. I love how they're thick and frosty looking. This is 18 Arctic Blush. Kind of a soft, pinky lilac color. Very beautiful. Yes, they are. This is Frozen Fern. Aren't those just delicious? And last but not least, or no, not last, this is Winter Glass. Just a lovely periwinkle blue. I knew I missed one. Glacial Lake. I love turquoises. I love any kind of turquoise color. So this is absolutely spectacular. Let me show you a little bit of the outside. Look at that layered crackle. Thank you, Michael. He says the close-ups look great. These are absolutely fantastic, and Michael Sprague is the artist who made these. Isn't that just gorgeous? So coming back, sorry, there we go. So those are our Kiln Ice glazes. And I know that you guys have a lot of questions. We have seen so many questions on social media. So I'm going to answer a few of them. These As you can see, just an amazingly unique crackle pattern. They also are fired to cone 5, 6. So you can fire them at cone 5, you can fire them at cone 6. They look great on a variety of color of clay body. They're lovely on white, they're lovely on black, they're lovely on brown clay bodies. You do have to be careful about manganese. They don't interact well with manganese clay bodies. And they require 3 to 4 heavy coats, which I will be doing a little bit of a demo with that in a moment. But as you can see, the crackle pattern really beautifully interacts with different forms. So I have some more pieces to share with you. So this is a little lidded jar. Sorry that it is very, very close up. But as you can see, as we said, how it breaks on the surface, so it accentuated the texture, and it just really works with the surface in a really beautiful way. So if you have a very detailed kind of surface, now if it's a very subtle texture, you're probably going to lose it, but if you have edges like that, something sharp for them to break over. And yes, I will be showing you pictures. Ken's asking about white clay, and yes, I will be showing you images on white clay very shortly. Christina says, I have a $200 gift certificate to Glaze Queen. Do you know if Glaze Queen has them? They will not have them yet, but they will be ordering those soon, and they will be shipping out to distributors in early April. So talk to your distributor. You can talk to Glaze Queen and find out if they will have them, if they are pre-ordering them. I'm sure if they know that you're interested, they will make sure to pre-order. So they should be on distributor shelves sometime in April. They will be available on the Amaco website sometime in early summer if you want to buy them directly, but you can get them more quickly from your local distributor. So we also have some information, extra information, that you can find a PDF on our website. It may be available at your local distributor when they receive the glazes, or if you are going to NCECA, you can get this at NCECA. So this has a lot of information, including what the Kiln Ice look like on different clay bodies. There we go. If you're having any pinholing issues, you can have a special firing schedule. Talks about testing, uses, all the colors. So there's 6 different colors. And other questions that I have seen on our social media include, let's see, so asking about coats. I find that three coats works really well for me. However, not everybody glazes the same, not everybody uses the same kind of brush. So if you tend to glaze kind of on the thin side, you're going to want to test that. And while I'm talking about these different things, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of glazing. If you have more questions, go ahead and ask me now, and I will answer in the chat. I've got a couple other little things. Here we go. Look at that. Isn't that a sweet little dish? And so I have an identical dish as that one, and I'm going to glaze it today with the KI-21 Winter Glass. So the glaze can be a little on the thicker side than what you're accustomed to, but it's certainly not too thick. Let me see if we have comments coming from YouTube. We do. Hi. So Michelle Dickey says, I thought they weren't food safe. Okay, So that is a little confusing, I know. They are actually rated food safe because food safe is a legal definition by the US FDA for limits on the release of lead and cadmium leaching. These do not have lead nor cadmium. They do not leach. They are rated food safe. However, because of the nature of the crackle, we do not recommend them for food contact surfaces. And I will talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But they are really meant for decorative use, not for food contact. So there we go. I want to make sure I get a nice wrap all the way around. And I have not had any trouble with the Kiln Ice running. They are very, very thick, but I have not had a problem with running. You might have, depending on your firing or your form, you may have different experiences. So you might want to be aware of the risk of running. So there is one coat, and I will set that aside and let it dry. So how many coats on the pieces that we showed? Yes. So these actually have 3 to 4 coats. The bowls that I showed you have 3 to 4 coats. And that I find works really well. I'm going to go back to the close-up so I can show you some thickness tiles. So this is my thickness tile with 2 coats, and you can see that this is on, can't remember if this is 30 or 32, I think it's 30. So it is on our milk chocolate clay, which is a brown clay. And you can see that I do get the crackle, but it is more of a typical crackle. This is 3 coats, and I get a better crackle. You can see the beginnings in some places where it is a little thicker. I have the typical snowflake. It almost looks like a flower, like a rose of petals circulating outward. So that's 3 coats. And then this is 4 coats. And with 4 coats, I did get a really, really beautiful, perfect crackle. And then I did also try it at 5 coats, at which point I started kind of losing the crackle a little bit. It's a little strange, but and at 5 coats you can also get crawling. If it's too thick, this glaze can crawl because it has a very high surface tension. It does dry pretty quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat on here. And Michelle asks, so it doesn't need to pool in an area to crackle, which is amazing. No, it does not need to pool. It does better where it does pool. You are going to get more crackle where it pools, but it does not need to flow. So as I was saying a little earlier, there is no glaze on the market, no commercial glaze on the market that does this. There are glazes like this that you can find formulas for, but they require a bit of tweaking. So one of the things we do recommend with this is that you test on your chosen clay body so that you can see that it is getting the right degree of crackle, that it's not pinholing. Oh, no picture. Whoops, what happened? Okay, I'm gonna switch to the overhead for a little bit while we adjust a camera shot. So you can see me glazing. You can't see me, but there we go. So there's my second coat. Make sure I get it all on the inside. And those of you who've seen my videos before know that I am a pretty generous applier of glaze. Michelle is asking, will this ping when coming out of the kiln? Oh my gosh, will it ever? They will, so the crackle, when they first come out of the kiln, there are no cracks in the glaze at all. It is completely crazeless, smooth, and in the next 24 to 48 hours, you will have all kinds of noise coming from them. I wouldn't even call it pinging. I call it singing because it is very loud, and I've heard it up to 2 days after the pieces come out of the kiln. And so when you get your piece out of the kiln, if it doesn't have any crackle on it, don't come to me saying, what is going on? Why is my Kiln Ice not crackling? The answer is that it needs to have a little time. So as time goes on, it will sing, and yes, it will give you a heart attack. So the first time that I heard one, it was very loud, louder than any pinging I'd ever heard, and boy, that was a surprise. So let's see, what other questions did we have? So answering some questions off of our, let me see if my selfie is back. Hang on. It is not. Hang on. Let's see. There we go. I'm back. Okay, so the next question that I have, oh, I'm frozen. Okay, I guess we're going to be back to an overhead for now. The next question that I had was, do these run? I did also already answer that. In my experience, the Kiln Ice are very stiff. That has not been a problem. But you might have, you might find that they do run, and they do definitely kind of bulge at the bottom. So another question was, let's see them on some white clay. So let me switch to the close-up. And this is the frozen fern. I'll put frozen fern in the background. So this is frozen fern on the black clay. This is frozen fern on buff, right here. You can see how you definitely see the green. And this is frozen fern on our white stoneware. So you still see the crackle. I know that our lighting is, you can tell also the glazes are very, very glossy. You do see the crackle, but I feel like it's easier to see the crackle on a darker clay. If you don't use a dark clay, you can also use the crackles over an underglaze, but I recommend that you test which underglaze you're using, because it is not going to work the same on all of them. And I thought this was an underglaze, but it's actually obsidian. And you can see you get kind of a normal crackle, but it's not the snowflake. This is over radiant red underglaze, and we got kind of a bubble going on, but we still get the crackle. And I will say that over brown underglazes works pretty well. So the next question was, is it food safe, Janet? As I said, the glazes are food safe in that they They do not release any lead or cadmium. They do not leach. However, because of the crackle, they are not considered suitable for dinnerware or food surfaces. So, Michelle is asking about engotes. And yes, you can use them over most engotes. I highly recommend that you test, because we have not tested them over a variety of engotes. But this is an example of using the Kiln Ice on the outside of a cup, and then the inside is glazed with Celadon snow. Also, you need to test if you're going to use a different liner glaze than the outside, because some combinations of glazes can actually cause, so some combinations of glazes can actually cause, no, that is still frozen, can actually cause the ware to break in half, called dunting. And I have found this to be especially true if you're using something like slip cast pieces, but on a regular thrown piece, if you are using a good sturdy clay and you use a glossy clear on the inside, or in this case it was a glossy white, but it worked okay. There's no cracks in the ware itself, just in the glaze. So you need to test if you're going to use a different liner glaze. Sorry, I'm trying to switch back and forth. Christina asks, can you mix them for custom colors like the Celadons? You certainly can. We haven't done that much testing with them mixed, but you can mix them. Let's see, some of the other things. So other people had asked about how do they look when they're layered, and I showed you the tile over the Celadon obsidian. We have not had excellent luck with layering them. This is over, this is the Kiln Ice, pardon me, over Sapphire Float. And you can see that we got the crackle, but it's okay if you want to try that out. This was over Honey Flux. Over Honey Flux. And we got a little bit of crackle in the bottom, but mostly we just got this. So this would be an example of the running. But if you'd like to give it a try, certainly you can try layering them. We just have had kind of mixed results. So some of them seem to be okay, some of them seem to be a little difficult. So you've asked when and where they will be available for sale. Contact your local distributor. They will be shipping out to distributors in early April, so they should be on distributor shelves by the end of April, and they will be available for direct sales on our website in early summer. Some people were asking how much they cost. They're actually priced about the same as the Celadons, but distributors have some flexibility with pricing, so they may vary. Another question was, will there be a sample pack? And currently, due to our production processes, we are not able to do a Kiln Ice sample pack. However, if you are going to NCECA this year, stop by the Amaco booth and tell them that Kara sent you, and they might have a little something for you, possibly, while supplies last. The next was, is there a recommended firing schedule? So these actually were fired in a regular, normal Cone 5 firing, no special program. However, if you are developing a lot of pinholing in any pieces, it might be from off-gassing of the clay. So we have a firing schedule on the product page that I showed you earlier that we can recommend for getting the best results. There we go. And that will be on our website. So I think that covers everything that I needed to tell you about. I'm going to go back to the overhead for a minute. And I'm going to put a third coat of glaze on this. And, Michelle Dickey is asking, how odd about slip casting pieces? Is that because the pieces are thinner? It may be. I think it's also kind of the nature of slip cast clay. I'm not entirely sure if it's just because it's thinner, but we have tried it on some slip cast pieces, and after a little while it would break the piece in half. So I don't know that it's the clay that's used. I don't know that it's the nature of slip casting clay, because slip casting clay is a little bit different chemically from regular throwing clay, or if it's something else. And you're saying, can they be finicky? I don't find them to be finicky. Honestly, the hardest thing is just making sure you get the right thickness of application on there, and that I feel like that is the most finicky part of it, is just application. So if you're I would recommend you test it out. If you're wanting to get the right degree of crackle, kind of play around with it and see what really works. And I would like to point out, as I was saying before, we do find that these Kiln Ice glazes work really beautifully well on this is milk chocolate. These are our premium clays. This is the milk chocolate clay, or on our dark chocolate clay, or even on our white chocolate clay. But they are especially beautiful on these. If you're using a different black or dark brown clay, or a speckled clay, you may have issues because those frequently have manganese. These are manganese free, so they do not interact with the glaze the same way that the manganese will. So we have found that using a manganese-free clay body works much better. Michelle is asking, can India ink be added over it? Will it go in the cracks? And yes, it will go in the cracks. I haven't tried it yet, but I have done that in the past. My concern would be that since the cracks are not just across the glaze, but actually in layers, that the ink might go underneath and you would just end up with black. So it's better if you use like a brown underglaze or our premium chocolate clays to get that contrast. So thank you again for joining me today for my clay adventures and glazing. And I hope you'll join me next time. I'll be talking about more glazing techniques and showing you some of the ways that I love to use Amaco glazes. And we will see you next time.